You're listening to the He Shoots, He Draws podcast, the show about photography, design, creativity, and more, with your hosts Dave Clayton and Alan Hess.
Hello and welcome back to He Shoots, He Draws. Now, first thing I'm going to do is make a huge apology. For those of you that do really kindly follow the podcast and listen to it and share it, thank you so much. I mean, every day we're still getting downloads for old episodes, and I think we're now on 311,000, getting on for 312,000 downloads in the 5 years we've been doing this. And I know recently the show's really dropped off. I know for a fact this will be the 7th episode this year. And a lot of that is down to work, really. As you know, myself and Alan Hess, we're co-hosts, but we're also thousands of miles apart. We're actually 8 hours apart. So Alan is 8 hours behind me, and I have a day job, and Alan also has a lot of work on. Now, that sounds like excuses, because this is the thing that, you know, the show really means a lot to me. I've been here since day one. Obviously started it with Glyn and then moved on to Alan. And I just love doing it. It really is great fun. And it frustrates me that I don't really get the time to put together shows and edit them. Excuse me, I've still got a show from November last year that I need to edit and put out, which was a really good one with Ian Paget from Logo Geek. But that turned out to be about 2 hours, 20 minutes. And I know it's going to need a lot of editing to go through. So that will come out eventually, probably closer to when Ian's book is coming out, which he's currently running on Kickstarter. But I do know I've really fallen behind. And the other thing as well is, you know, the podcast industry has just absolutely taken off like you couldn't believe. It's like there's 10 new podcasts coming out every day, and there's a lot of good ones, there's a lot of bad ones. I'd like to think we sit somewhere in the middle. Even if we're below the middle line, I'd like to think we're closer to it, if not just above it. But it really is a joy doing it. It's great fun doing it because we get to chat to some really cool people. We get some really good interaction with cool people. The whole interview process can sometimes slow the show down because obviously you're trying to get the guest booked, trying to find a suitable time to record, and then sort of put the whole thing together and get it out and market it. And I do it all on my own now, so that's not like a tiny violin moment. It's just it's the reality of putting together a podcast that is purely a labour of love. You know, would love to have a sponsor on board, but I can't expect a sponsor on board without putting out, a regular content, because it's got to be fair for the sponsor. So what I've been doing is putting out episodes and just kind of putting in partnership with or supporting. So like Three-Legged Thing, I always like to support Three-Legged Thing as not a sponsor, but as a partner. They're good people. I love their product. But yeah, I really need to get my arse in gear. So I've had some ideas about where to go with the show and what to do. It's obviously been very photo stroke design specific, and obviously my strength is design. Alan's strength is photography. But I need to find somewhere in between, because there's a lot of things I kind of want to talk about and have more conversational podcasts rather than just interviewing guests. And as much as, good fun the guests are, like I said, it's just probably easier to put out an episode that's maybe solo or a shorter conversation. So that's going to be the plan going forward. I hope to get out probably up to 5 episodes this year. I will be at Adobe Max, so I'm hoping this time I can take my gear and actually grab a couple of interviews with people out there. But it really is. It's just the frustration on my part to try and make a good show that's worth listening to, and hope that people still enjoy it. So in terms of work, upcoming, I've got Photoshop World from the 5th to the 7th of September. Really looking forward to that. Glyn will also be an instructor for that. So we've both days on the 6th and the 7th of September, we're actually back to back. So I think he's first, then I follow him, and then the next day I'm first and he follows me. So that will be good fun. and also obviously Adobe Max in October coming up as well. I've just got back from Orlando where I've been recording my biggest ever class for Creature Art Teacher, which is run by ex-Disney animator and amazing artist and most wonderful human being, Aaron Blaze. And when I was over there in spring, we were chatting and I was suggesting, like I do with a lot of industries and events where graphic design doesn't naturally come in as a perfect fit, that there's a lot of people in industries where graphic design can help them. So for example, Kaylee Greer has got her event coming up in September, Shutterhound in Las Vegas, and her and Sam have just put in so much work for that. And as you know, we had Kaylee as a guest, and she's so enthusiastic about this, and it's going to be an amazing show. And you know, just the list of instructors she's got for dog photographers is amazing. And I'd said to her, next year, it's one of those kind of events where I think graphic design would fit in, because you want to show people who maybe are just photographers how they can include and bring graphic design into their world. So to teach them some things in design that's more suitable, more specific for their kind of niche product. So that's what we did with Aaron. We were looking at how illustrators and artists and animators can use Photoshop, Illustrator and InDesign to their best use, really, if they've got the Creative Cloud. So we did a whole intro on Adobe Fonts, Adobe Stock. We also looked at FontSelf, who are a great company as well, fontself.com. And we showed how to make a typeface that we can include in a project. And I just went through a load of stuff in all three apps to show that specific industry how they can just get started and get the best out of it. There was a lot in there. There was a lot that wasn't in there. And there's a lot when I got home, I thought, oh, crap, I wish I'd put that in there as well. But it was great fun. I was out there for 5 days recording. Unfortunately caught COVID on day 5 on the Thursday. So unfortunately it looks like I had COVID Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but didn't know. I thought I just had a cold, and I didn't know till I got home, and my wife said, I think you ought to take a test. And I'm like, no, I can't have got it again. But took a test, and yes, I was positive. So that was a bit of a shock, but that's the perils of travelling still in a world that isn't quite recovered from the pandemic. It's still out there, people, and it's still quite easy to catch. Fortunately, like I said, all I had was cold symptoms for a few days, which, these days it's hard to tell. If someone coughs, everyone jumps under a table. So, back to normal though, back home, working on my Photoshop World stuff, and also we've got a couple of really exciting projects coming up with Glyn Dewis that I'm going to be working on. Doing some more content for Aaron. What else have I got? Still writing for Photoshop User Magazine for kelby1.com. So that's now, I think I'm heading into my 5th year doing that as well. So lots of things to come out. I'll be updating finally updating my MailChimp email list. So I'll put a link into the show notes, because there's going to be a lot more content coming out that's going to be a crossover between graphic design, free stuff, mentioning the odd event just to sort of help. If there's an affiliate, I can at least make some money to help pay for the podcast, and then hopefully getting some content up on YouTube. It's something I've resisted for quite some time, as I've got a face for radio. I've not always been comfortable being on camera, but I'm becoming more comfortable. Glyn's been helping. So yeah, lots to come, lots to work on. Hoping to make a really busy 2024 and push myself out there a little bit more and stretch the show, and just basically use all the resources I can in the time that I've got available to make good content. So this is always weird, speaking on the show by myself, but I think it's something that I'm hoping to do a bit more of. Not obviously just sat here waffling like I'm doing now, but actually come up with some content where I kind of would like to share my thoughts and then put some questions out there, and then do a follow-up show with responses that have come back. And just see where it all goes over the next couple of years. But just for now, before I go into this interview, which I just want to say, another thing I've really enjoyed doing is I consume a lot of social media video content, specifically people who are really smashing TikTok at the moment, and people who are very consistent on there. Now, the last episode was James Barnard. I haven't had Ian Barnard on yet, but James Barnard came back exactly a year on, and we talked about his career, which is absolutely blowing up at the moment. And but there are some other people on TikTok that I really enjoy their content. I love the way they put together their content, how comfortable they are on camera sharing, and it's just like watching a little kind of TV show of someone's life. And this particular guest, Sharon, her company is called ESSARAITCH, which the full name is actually her initials. And Sharon's been running this account for a couple of years now, and I just kind of accidentally came across her, and I just love the way she shares her business. She makes stationery, personalised stationery, stickers, books. She's running a great business up in the north of Wales, and she's just a highlight of the day to see what she's up to. And it's always good fun and always informative. So I thought I'd reach out to her and say, hey, would you love to be on a podcast? And she kindly said yes. And we had about an hour just having a really good chat about TikTok, life, running a business, how to include social media content into part of what you do and how successful that can be. And I've got 2 or 3 more people I'd love to get on like that, because I just find the way they conduct themselves, the way they go about their business is really interesting. So that will be something that will be coming up soon. And a couple of other random people I've sort of seen elsewhere that I just would love to chat to. And best thing to do is, if you're going to chat to them, record it, put it out as a podcast. So I'm not going to carry on talking. That's been 12 minutes. Thank you for getting this far. But yeah, we're going to go into the interview. And like I said, please stick with the show. We are going to be around. There is lots more coming. But up to now, thank you so much to absolutely everybody that always comments and shares. I know Kirsty particularly always posts and shares the podcast, and I think Joshua and a couple of other people that I will get their names and mention them next time. But yeah, super cool, loving it. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand over now to the start of the show, and it's me and Sharon. So see you next time.
Hello, welcome to an episode of He Shoots, He Draws, where I'm going to be interviewing someone who I feel like I've known for ages because I've been watching her content. And she's so good at it. It just feels like you're joining her in her office day to day, just seeing what's going on behind the scenes. And today's the first time we've actually spoken. We've messaged each other a few times. But I want to introduce Sharon Harrison, often called Sarah.
You had to get that.
And to get that in, a company called SRH. So, Sharon, I'm just going to let you do the quick intro. The thing we always say is, if someone comes up to you in a pub and says, oh, hi Sharon, what do you do for a living? What's kind of your stock answer to let them know kind of what you do daily?
Okay, so I just say I'm a graphic designer with a small business that makes business stationery, specialising in foil finish, and that's it. That's all I say.
And that's the end of the episode. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And then they say, what's your business name? And I go, oh, let's not go there.
Oh, yeah, because so SRH, let's explain it. SRH are your initials. So
so my full name is Sharon Ruth Harrison. So my initials are SRH. So my business name is the letters spelt out. So ESS makes S, AR, R, and H is H. It's not H. Everyone pronounced letter H wrong, but that's all it is. It is just my initials spelt out as words.
And you stuck with it, and
I did.
It's how we know who you are now.
I come to it way before I even started my business, and then I just thought, right, I'll save that one day. Jotted it down somewhere, and then 2014 came, and that was it. That's the business name's going to be sorted, done. Right, let's go.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. So okay. So you've been running the business yourself. I know you've got children. You've got a fiance that runs his own business. Why did SRH start? And when?
Okay, so 2014. So I'd had Sophie in 2013. I had a fantastic job at a sign company. Went back after maternity leave, and just within a couple of months, I was like, "Oh, this is not the same." you have a child and your priorities completely change. And you have to take off the odd day there because they're ill. And I think it just got to a point where I'd like to just do something by myself, for myself. So by July, so it's for April, I left my job. I had my two best friends' weddings in May and June, and their gift, what I was making them, was what my business was starting with these personalized frames for 7 different occasions. So I got their weddings out the way, and then I started in July. And that yes, I didn't start with stationery. I started with artwork and gifts for new homes and babies and engagements, weddings, greeting cards, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that was it. That's how it all started.
Was that because you saw a market there? Had you kind of been doing graphic design? Because you're obviously a graphic designer, because I know you use Adobe Illustrator and you create a lot of the stuff that you do. Was that just a gap in the market that you saw at the time?
You know what? It's so long ago. I don't know. I think the Not on the High Street was quite big back then. And it was always like popping up in your Facebook feed. And I think because I knew that I wanted to make them for my friends' birthdays, and they went down so well, and I had such good feedback from like the people that they'd shown. I was like, right, okay, then yeah, this is what I like. This is what I like to design. I really enjoyed putting together the artwork. I mean, when I started, it was so hard having a Facebook page back then and getting the followers, because so many people were doing kind of the same product but different design styles, isn't it?
Yeah.
The word art was really big back then, if you remember. Those word clouds.
Yeah.
I never did that. I'm quite glad to admit I never did those.
And publisher.
Yeah, it's just what I liked to design, and it was, I'd been using Illustrator for a few years, so I knew what I was doing. I knew how to use set printers and in terms of ordering stock. But yeah, just like the whole the framed gifts, framed artwork as a gift. Yeah, that was my thing.
Because I used to get, when I first started, well, I say first started, when I was doing graphic design and people sort of realised what I did, the amount of work I got at the beginning was, I was forever making calendars for people, but they were theme calendars. So for children's present, I'd do a 12-month A3 calendar, and they'd give me a bunch of photos, and I'd put the kids in their favourite TV shows, or just do the swap face thing. And it was just that, birthday cards, posters for, can you put my dad as Bobby Moore in the World Cup? And as soon as everybody realised I did that, it was like, can you do that? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Which is really time consuming. And then they go, so that'd be about like a £5, yeah? But £3. Yeah, for the 4 hours I've spent on that, absolutely £5 will cover it. And the paper and the printing. And so you kind of fall into a trap. Once people know that's what you do, you become the quick go-to. And then because you can use a computer, all your family then call you for any printer and computer problems. Because they're like, well, you must be an expert. Yeah.
And my family have been great, though, in terms of supporting my business. My auntie regularly has been to me over the years wanting collages put together and printed and framed and all that. So, yeah, they've been good. And I charge her a full whack.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the nice thing. So now you've obviously been running the company for 9 years now.
Yeah, 9 years this month.
And had children along the way. You're working from home originally, I guess.
I was up until 2020. Did I move in 2021? 2021.
COVID?
Yeah. 2021. I moved out the house down here then, yeah.
So your graphic design background, was that just something at school that you did and you just fell into, or you had to teach yourself?
That was a big shock and a big surprise, because right throughout secondary school, I was very much in the textiles department, product design and all that. And that's what I did for A-level. And after A-levels, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I went to go and do a foundation art and design course in my local college, which was just a year. Hated that. But the teacher, every time she looked at my work, she was, you're very graphic design based. I'm like, no, I'm not. She's talking about, this woman with 40 years of experience. And she goes, oh, yeah, I can just see the way you present everything. You're very graphics based. And I was like, all right, okay. So from there, the way I got the job at the sign company was the owner used to drink at my dad's pub. And they got chatting, and he said, my daughter's into graphics and design and all that. She's looking for some work experience. So I went there for 4 weeks, and 7 years later I left. So they taught me everything else that I needed to know. I just completely learned on the job, because throughout school and college, I wasn't doing anything with any design software whatsoever. So yeah, it was completely at Humphrey Signs that I learned how to. I was using Sign Lab to start off with, and then we quickly went on to Adobe Illustrator, and that was it. Yeah, and I had it on my computer at home, so I could just play and teach myself. And used to find different websites, vector tuts, I think one of them was. Used to follow the step by step and how to draw bubbles and things, and yeah, basically self-taught, as well as Colin at Humphrey Signs teaching me how to do various things as well.
Yeah, I've had that where different jobs I've worked at, you pick up so many good tips to kind of put pieces together, because that's the thing I find. Kids aren't taught. They're taught textiles and design, but they're not taught functional design to look at taking into a business. Now, I'm of an age where at school, the only computers were on Star Trek, and we had nothing like. The most technical thing we had was the language lab, where you just put a set of headphones on. The French teacher would say stuff and we'd repeat it back into a mic. No computers. Yeah. If they wheeled in the TV and the VHS one day to watch a film, that was a technical day. So I never really got the opportunity to do graphic design on computers until I was in my late 20s. And then I was self-taught. And I think it's so much to be said about being self-taught. Like, I'm kind of glad I didn't go to uni. I'm glad I haven't got any debt. But I've just been picking it up along the way and just learn something, watch a tutorial. And, now we've got the dawn of TikTok, which we'll come to shortly. There's so many people sharing techniques and tips and tricks that even like, I love watching your content because I like watching your process, because it's just something that interests me. Like the design side is very down to what the client wants, what you can create, but the process side of it fascinates me, because like, it's just you've moved to a new office, you've got all this work going on that you go through all the time, which is, design takes time and setup takes time and doing TikToks takes time.
Yeah.
So going on to TikTok, I mean, obviously you set up a successful business, and then one day you decided, I'm just going to go on TikTok. Why? Yeah. Why?
A friend of mine runs a business page on there, and I think she was sharing her videos to Instagram. And I was watching them. I was like, oh, these are funny. These are different from Instagram videos and TikTok, Facebook videos. These are like comical and quirky and sarcastic. And I was just like, I am the definition of sarcastic.
Yeah.
I just signed up, and you're scrolling and you're watching everyone dancing and people cooking. And I thought, how can I make this work? And I think the only thing that really works for me and my TikTok is showing the process. From just, even if it's from designing to doing the print and the foiling and the reveals and all that kind of thing. I do tutorials in the way of the foiling process and stuff. But like you were saying, I love watching the Adobe Illustrator tips and tricks, because I'm like, when did they do that? Yeah. I just don't have time to sit and play, and I don't sit and play and explore, because like you say, I'm always either just doing orders, designing orders, and they take time. So I would love a week where I could just sit and master all these tools and tricks. But TikTok has been an eye-opener, and one of those things where I wish I'd started it sooner as well, maybe.
So what difference has it made to your business?
I'd like to say I was busier, but this year, after checking back figures, isn't as good as like lockdown years.
Really?
But no, it has gone quiet. I think a lot of businesses started up in lockdown, didn't they, from home? Yeah. And have just dwindled back to their full-time jobs now. But I just love the interaction of it all. It's just fun, isn't it? You can be a bit silly and a bit sarcastic and a bit grumpy. Whereas I don't feel like I could do that on my Facebook and Instagram pages. Like, you got to be professional on Instagram. And Facebook, a tumbleweed page anyway. Nothing really, you don't get the interaction like you used to on there. But TikTok, you can just, I don't know, like just piss about a bit.
I think that's it. That's what I love about it. When I first started looking on TikTok, it was during lockdown, and someone sent me a stupid video, and it was like, you had to view it on TikTok, and it was getting some kind of weird negativity, and it was, it's just an app for young girls dancing, and when you're an older man, you don't like want to suddenly be, I'm on TikTok all the time. But I went on and I realised once you get past everybody dancing to The Weekend, which was the song of COVID, and everyone doing like the swimming dance, and there's still certain songs now that when they come on the radio, I hear them, they take me back to lockdown because that was TikTok at the time. But I started watched it and I realised, oh, there's creative people on here. I'll follow them, and I started to work out. You get the For You page, which is obviously when people go, why do I keep seeing young girls dancing on my For You page? You want to go, well, it's because you keep watching videos of young girls dancing and TikTok knows the algorithm. So whereas now, mine's just like Microsoft Excel tips, Illustrator tips, Photoshop tips, magicians, just creative people that I like following their content. And it soon became like, it's amazing how much you can do in a minute for a start when you want to show something. And now it's obviously 3 minutes. I think some are even 10 minutes. 10 minutes. But I like it because I know you can kind of doom scroll and flick through and just go that, you know, there's a lot of rubbish on there you kind of have to filter through. But like, you've become one of my, I need to just see what you're doing because it's just fun and interesting. And it's just like, I look at the stuff you make and think, well, that's really cool. I don't know that I'd ever want to attempt to do that because I'd probably make a right pig's ass of it. And foil would be like tearing up in the wrong place. And when I get anxiety when I see you doing the borders in the cutouts for the stickers to get them lined up.
Oh, God. Yeah, when people order stickers with foil borders, I put the order off. I'll be honest with you. It goes into the next one, and then I put it into the next one. I'll do it another day. I'll do it because I haven't got the time for the anxiety of getting it all lined up. And then I print it in a sheet, and I put it through the laser to get the thing. And it's maybe only 1 or 2 mil off. I was like, oh. And then I don't know why I do it to myself every single time. I just put it off all the time. But then they're the good ones to show on TikTok. Because it's like,
exactly.
Look how perfect I got these stickers.
Look how good I am. It's like, it's like the binder machine. I've used one of those before, and man, I've done it on the wrong edge, and just I've experienced some of the nightmares. So like when I'm watching you, I'm just thinking, oh, please do it right. Don't let go wrong. Done it. I know you're only going to show you the one that works out right anyway, but I'm a big fan of process videos, behind the scenes, all that kind of stuff. So I was saying to you off air before we started, the thing that I love about the way you do your channel is you're very matter of fact, very honest, very genuine. You do show the mess ups and the successes, but it's the way that you find talking to the camera so natural. But it never feels like you've rehearsed it. It never feels like you're putting on an act. It's like when we watch Sharon, we get Sharon, and that's you. Regardless, if I was in the office there, you'd be exactly the same as you are on TikTok, whereas a lot of people aren't. There's someone else.
Yeah. No, it's just practice, isn't it? Like I said to you as well, I watched back those first videos where I'm very much like my heart's racing and I've probably recorded it 3 or 4 times, whereas now I know what I'm saying. It's fair enough. Sometimes I might have to redo it if I'm just like flapping and don't get my words out. But yeah, I don't know how to not be myself and say what I want to say and say it how I say it. I do say it how it is far too much. But yeah, that just comes with a lot of practice. I think you can tell the people that maybe sometimes a little bit nervous in their videos, but just give them a bit of word of encouragement, isn't it? And leave them a comment because that'll just build their confidence to keep going. It's so like when people comment on your TikTok videos, that's what I love. I love replying and getting the interaction and feeling like the video hasn't gone to waste. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you've got something to reply to and hope that the algorithm boosts your views a little bit.
Yeah. The questions are nice. So, I mean, I know you've had to, this is something like I want to talk to you about was, obviously, once you go on TikTok, you put yourself out in the open. So you've been very honest who you are, where you are, your family, everything, and you've got this business. You just know for a fact TikTok does bring in the trolls. It brings in the negative people. I'm sure you have to deal with that looks shit. I wouldn't have done it like that. How can you charge for that?
Yeah.
When you first encountered that, because I know, like any criticism, you can have 100 comments saying, Sharon, you're the best thing in the world. But that one comment that goes, that was rubbish, sticks with you. How did you first deal with that? Are you quite kind of casual enough to go, well, I don't care about you, I don't know you, your opinion doesn't count, or does it dig in a little bit?
No, I'd usually just delete the comment.
Right.
Then it's not there. Don't give the person the satisfaction, or be like, mate, 9 years of experience, you try doing it. Do you know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
is just sat at home who, doesn't do or can't do what I can do, kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of the time I probably just delete it, or just give them back, isn't it? Just give them a bit
Yeah.
of chat back. Not afraid
Yeah.
of that. I mean, sometimes you draw the line. At the end of the day, it's your business, and they can easily get a load of mates to come on and give you more abuse. But
Yeah.
thankfully, that hasn't happened that I can think of. No.
I know the other thing you've had to compete with, which again is through watching your feed, is when you've got people coming on and saying, oh, hey, that looks really easy. Can you just tell me all the printers you use, where you buy all your paper? When that first came along, I knew that really pissed you off. But I thought you were very tactful in your responses. But I mean, does that happen a lot more now? The kind of more, I'd say, the more success you've had, because I do think you're having success on TikTok. But have you noticed, because people are looking at it thinking, well, that's really easy, I can make money from that, she's obviously doing all right.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of that, or is it only once in a blue moon?
It used to be quite often. I've not had it for a good while now, and I'm happy to share what printers I use, because at the end of the day, anyone can get these printers from any Curry store. I think it just comes down to your skills with using the software. Your design skills is what sells your product, isn't it, really? If you want to buy the same printer and card and sticker sheets as me, fine, go for it. Just, it's no bother, absolutely no bother. I'm happy to share that. But yeah, when you get any, I think it was about a year ago, it came up on my TikTok memories of people, someone full on just sent me a message going, what printers do you use? And it was like they wanted their list. And I was like, no. So I didn't even bother replying, because it was just too cheeky. If it was someone like a business friend that I've known for years and she just wanted a bit of advice, fine, but not someone that I've never spoken to before. I had one last week who wants to print their own stickers from now on, and she offered to pay me to Zoom call to help her setting up the artwork, which I'm going to do. We agreed a price, and I thought, you know what, if I can go forward doing this, maybe then I should, rather than just give out all my knowledge for free. Mark would be fuming. My partner's a businessman, and he would never do anything for free. So I think that's probably the way forward. I would go, like, okay, if you want some information on setting up the templates, I can sell you my templates. But different printers are set up different with different borders, and people come to me all the time, I can never get my stickers to line up. I'm like, just keep at it. Like, you will. And I'm like, it's not hard.
No, you're like, trust me, I've wasted like enough trees for a forest of trying to line up print. But that's the thing. Like, obviously, you got people who want to do that. There's nothing wrong. I tell you what, there's money in teaching, Sharon. There's being able to show people how to do it, because like when you get a fussy client and like, I'm never going to order from you before, it's like, great, because you're going to be a nightmare client.
Yeah.
But I've also found I've had more success teaching than doing anyway. And if that client is going to come to you and say, like, it might not just be a negative thing. It might just be, look, times are hard. I'd love to use you, but I've kind of got to bring it in-house. And they pay you to show them. The fact that they will come back to you because you've been honest and helpful. And it's not giving business away, because chances are they were probably going to go and try and do it themselves anyway and do a bad job, and they'll come back to you. But now you're obviously dealing with, we'll call them copycat businesses. Now people are seeing what you're doing and what kind of products you're doing, and they can save all the videos and they can go, okay, well, I'll do diaries, I'll do workbooks, I'll do tickets, I'll do stickers. How are you finding that? Because I know you had one the other day. We don't have to name names, but I know you had one the other day that was hit home a little bit hard.
That wasn't about my business. That was my friend's business.
Oh, because I went. That was. Is it Merch UK? Is her name?
Metal MCT.
Metal. Yeah.
My friend Jen's business that was just completely ripped off and copied. But me and Jen have been business besties for the past 9 years, because she started off as stationery too.
Yeah.
We used to help her out a lot with terms of printers and stuff like that. but that was her business. But I mean, it's happened to me with my artwork as well. I think I shared another video of that actually. I mean, yeah, because I'm like I said, I've been quiet this year. I'm like, I've got to stop showing people how I make these things. They're doing it themselves, or they're going over to a new stationery business that's just started up and they're undercutting my prices or something. But you get what you pay for as well at the end of the day, don't you?
Yeah.
And you go elsewhere, the printer's not set up right, so the print quality is not great. I've had people come to me before saying they've paid less and wishing they hadn't, kind of thing. But I think a lot of small businesses though have actually shut down. Like a lot of my customers, I have looked for their Facebook pages. They're just not going anymore. It's just hard. It's hard to get people to buy things that aren't a necessity, aren't they? Like your candles and wax, that kind of area of the business. They're expensive to make and they're expensive to buy. But yeah, the copycats. It's more when it comes down to the design style. Like I don't mind you doing the same product to an extent. But yeah, when you look at someone's, it's like for like, you're like, oh, put your own spin on it, put your own twist on it.
Yeah, I think that's lazy because you've spent 9 years building your business. You know how you run it. You know how you process the orders. And the trouble is, people come along and everybody wants instant success. Everyone wants to make money right now, and they think that just literally lifting and copying what they're seeing you do is an instant success. All they're really doing is they're adding themselves into a market that already has good established people with good loyal clients, and they either try and nick your clients really badly and contact them and go, hey, I can do this for cheap, in which case most of your clients will probably tell you that anyway, because I've had that before. Or they just make such a bad job of it, but then they can kind of give the industry a bad name because people see the bad content and then they think, well, everybody doing that is probably making bad content, bad stuff, and you've got to overcome that as well. But I think that's just, again, your personality comes through it. I think people probably buy into you because of who you are and they see you being genuine and being honest. And, think how many businesses can come online and go, oh, by the way, I'm shutting down for 2 weeks. I'll be back for 2 days. I'll be off for another week. I might be in for a day.
Who does that? Who does that? I don't do that.
But at least you tell people what you're doing. You've got your kids, you're saying, like, my family's important. I've got 3 young daughters, Mark's working as well. But I think it's better to be honest and say, hey, look, I'm taking time away. You might lose some orders, but I don't think it will harm you in terms of losing customers. I think it's just nice to see someone being so fresh and honest about what they're doing.
It's quality of life as well, isn't it? Like if Mark can book the week off and I can take the week off because I work near enough within 2 weeks. I can schedule it so that I either increase my turnaround time or I just shut the website. If I announce too early that I'm shutting the website, it goes crazy and then I'm stressing and I'm trying to get as much as I can do before we go on holiday. So I tend to just leave it very last minute. By the way, I'm away next week. But that works out fine, and customers are all very, very good. And if a repeat customer says, oh, I know you're away, is there any chance you can get it out before you go? Well, if it's a repeat order, then yeah, absolutely. It's dead easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Press print, chop, cut, whatever, I can get that done. But that's the beauty of being a small business owner, is that I can come and go as I please and fit it in around the kids and Mark and holidays and days out. And I'm just planning summer holidays now, and I think I'll only be in 2 days a week just because of the childcare fees if I had to put Sophie into a holiday club. I do enjoy having the holidays off with the kids as well. Just look forward to it every year.
Yeah, but that's what you say you got to do. Everyone's the whole thing of like mental health and that is so important now. But I think just rather than saying nothing and getting orders come in, because as a sales tactic, it's great to go, oh, hey, I'm going to be shutting the website down for 7 days. It's a good way to get orders in really quickly as well. But I know you wouldn't do that. I know you're honest enough to know, because then like next minute is pictures of you on holiday enjoying yourself. And that is just such a, like, it's so refreshing. I've always said that, like, the classes and talks that I do about supporting other people. And I did one at Creative South last year with a friend of mine, Diane, and we talked about like community and sharing. And I'm such an advocate for connecting with people, like let them know you're watching, let them know why you're watching. You've enjoyed it. It's been useful, helpful, because like you say, you're in there on your own. You haven't got anyone helping you. You're doing all the work yourself. Just getting that engagement just kind of makes you feel that half an hour you've spent making a TikTok is worth it than
Absolutely.
just like crickets and tumbleweed.
But I can like leave it and come back to it a few hours later, and I'm like, oh my god, like the views on this are amazing, or like I've gone viral without trying. Don't try to go viral. Just don't even wish for it, because that brings in all kinds of good and the bad. But that's what I was going to say before. I don't think I would like to start a new business page now, because I think trying to get the followers and the interaction from zero, it's just to be. It's such a saturated market now. I think the reason why I've got so many followers on TikTok is because of those 4 or 5 viral videos that I've had, 3 of which have absolutely nothing to do with my business. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is once you've got yourself set up, because obviously you're on Instagram, like you said, you're on Facebook. I'm finding, like, anyway, TikTok really could take a huge lead here, because I'm finding like Instagram engagement is poor, Facebook engagement is next to useless, Twitter's throttled, and everyone just wants to fight on Twitter.
Facebook's left that.
Yeah, Facebook is, it's all right if you want your Auntie Doris and Uncle Jimmy and your friends you went to school with see what you're doing, but I don't know that it brings a great deal of business for people. Instagram seem to have been quite good because they moved over to the video side. So I know a lot of people cross-pollinate both with the same content and put them both out. But TikTok just seems to just be the place that's growing at the moment. And I think being tactical and putting yourself out there, because like talking about going viral, I mean, I know one of the videos was James Barnard's pencil tool. And I said to him the other day about it, and we were laughing because I said, your video got this many views and Sharon's video got this many views, but it was still connected to you. So overall, between you got this many million views. But there's nothing wrong in that, because I think it's good to show what you learn. I remember days of, when I was learning, everybody was like, when you're at school doing the exam and you put your arm around a bit of paper and you write so nobody can see. Sharing was unthinkable. Whereas now, everybody's fighting over themselves to share as much as possible. And like I saw a video James put out, I've already seen probably 5 videos of the same technique. Now, whether they came before him or after him, but if you just go through and just look at only the videos maybe using that music or that technique, you just see thousands and thousands and thousands of everybody fighting to share as much as possible. I mean, my feed's just full of generative AI and Firefly and AI stuff. So it's just it's interesting to look at, but there's a lot of it. So I like following the small businesses and seeing process and seeing what they kind of do. So now going forward, now you've kind of got to this point, you've done TikTok for 2 years?
Maybe 2 years this autumn, yeah.
Are you now kind of looking forward thinking, I do need to make this part of my business? Do you think you could add different kind of content to what you do, maybe more tutorial stuff, or would you just kind of happily doing it as you go?
I mean, it's day by day for me. I don't plan, right, this week I'm posting this. It's all just, right, what do I, like this morning, what did I do? I printed my invoices and sorted them out. Right, that'll make it, post it. It's not, I've got quite a few orders here that have looked through and thought, actually, the foiling process of those will be a good video. But I don't plan ahead. I'm very, very much still winging it, Dave, after 9 years, I'll be honest. But yeah, like, if it wasn't for seeing James's videos, I wouldn't have come across all the other amazing graphic designer videos that I now follow on TikTok and Instagram, teaching about all the little new updates on Illustrator. So my feed's completely changed, because it used to be all small businesses, and now it's all very much design, which I think, I'll use that when I get a chance to sit and play, which is never. But in terms of what I can do on TikTok, I think I'll just carry on with like little bits of tutorials, maybe not too much, because like I said, it's been quiet, and you think, oh, I'm teaching people too much in terms of, I mean, with the process though, with foil, it's very easy. You need a laser
Well,
printer, some foil, and a laminator. Anyone can do it. But like I said, it's getting stuff to line up, and it's your design skills, isn't it? So I can
yeah,
teach the process, but I can't teach the copy my designs. It's
yeah.
not going to happen. But yeah, I think I just keep doing the processes. People do love watching bookbinding and business card cutting. It's
It's
just things that I just do naturally that I think, oh, I've got to film this now.
yeah, it is surprisingly weird and satisfying just to watch someone bookbind for a minute or
Yeah.
3 minutes. But like I said, it's like the process of doing it. I mean, from a design side, obviously you did graphic design, and I use Adobe Illustrator, and I, because of the nature of my job, I like watching how people design stuff. I mean, you using Illustrator. Are you only Illustrator user? Have you learned anything else, or you just use what you need?
I just use Illustrator. Yeah. I forget to record myself designing something because I think, what if I send it to the customer and the customer doesn't like it, and then I've got to record a new video, or I can't post it. And so I need to get back into that, because they do have good views and like comments and stuff on it. But that is all I use, is Adobe Illustrator for doing the design and the layout of the business cards, the stickers, the books, and everything. It's so user friendly. Well, I know for a new person it wouldn't be, but for me, it's just so user friendly, and it's got everything there and more that I don't use that I
Yeah,
should use. Yeah, I've got no plans to use. And yet I've tried Photoshop years ago, but in terms of stationery, you need everything vector based. So
yeah.
there's no point in me using anything else.
I know that. When I used to make stuff, I know there's a few videos kicking around at the moment of when you say, "Can you send me the vector logo?" and you get vector.png. And I dealt with so many. Or they send you a Word document with a GIF file on, and you just. But it's
It's
weirdly
the JPEG
illustrate.
in the PDF that kills me.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, your PDF file. I open it. I'm like, what is this?
I'm doing posters at the moment for Edinburgh Fringe for some comedians. I know one of a friend of mine's an agent, and he's got some artists. So I'm doing a bunch of posters for Edinburgh Fringe, but they want from like the magazine ads through to A5, A3, A1, and these big like 4x4 sheets. And a couple of them he sent through the logo. He's not going to listen to this anyway, so I can talk about it. But it was a guy, a musician guy, and they sent me through the graphic, and he said, "Oh yeah, I need an A1 poster of that." Honestly, the graphic he sent me was like under 1 meg in size, and it was literally about the size of a business card.
Oh.
And I had to go back and go, "You need to contact the graphic designer that made it, because honestly, mate, if I blow this up to 8.1, it's just going to be a bunch of colored blocks. It'd be
Yeah.
so pixelated." And you get back and forth, what file do you want? And you're thinking, if I say PSD, PDF, AI, I'm just going to get a blank stare. I'm just going to end up with a screenshot of their website or something. I think it's good to educate, and you've probably found it, educating people who do use your services to kind of know what you want and what you give me are two different things. So I think becoming quite a good illustrator, you end up recreating people's logos, which is another process video I've seen you do, where you did a couple of like, oh, I've seen a company and I've done it without asking them, and I'm going to do this. And you kind of reverse engineered it. But I think it's a really good way of learning Illustrator, because I know if I come and sat next to you, I could probably show you like 5 things that you would go, shit the bed. Honestly, I could have done that all this time. But you would teach me 5 things about print and lining up documents and stuff like that I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So I think the design side, I think you should do more Illustrator design videos. Definitely.
Well, I'm actually just doing one now. I've got a logo here she's come back into business after years of being away. So it's lovely to hear from her again. And she's slightly changed her business name, and a little bit of the graphic is different. So, I mean, I've done it now, but I could, start it again to video it to show you how I put it together. But yeah, people do like watching that kind of stuff, don't they? It's quite satisfying.
Yeah, definitely. taking someone's old logo and showing how to rebuild it, because it's a friend of mine, his girlfriend works for a company where they do promotional stuff, and we've not done it yet, but I ended up designing a ticket for me to do a half-day training for her to go down and show her how to do like the reverse engineering of bad logos. But it's something I would like to see more of, because I think it's one of those things that gets missed out because people don't understand the difference between JPEG and vector. But the couple that you did, even the one you did where
it was the wrong logo.
Yeah, it was the wrong logo, but it was still interesting to watch because it's how you approached it, and how you build it up.
Really good views, actually.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the logo I did do is nicer on the eye than her actual logo. So I was going, and she said, "That's not my logo. This is it." I was like, "Oh, that's a shame," because it's really quite. It's just a bit more cleaner and simpler than what she's gone for in the end. But yeah, that was. I don't know what made me do that, because she just said, "Oh, my logo's too busy for foil, and I'm sad about it." I was like, "Well, let's not have that. Let's just do it." You know, it's like half an hour of mucking about on my computer one day. It turned into getting a load of new followers, potential customers, and lots of lovely comments about, you know, that was a nice thing that I did.
Yeah.
And then I also got comments with, "Can you do my logo? Can you do mine? Can you try mine?" As I got time. I just comment.
No, sorry. I was going to say the other thing that always used to annoy me on social media was when, I don't know, say Instagram go, "Hey, we've just rebranded. Here's the new Instagram logo," and then you get, well, first of all, you get all these designers that don't like what they call crowdsourcing. So where a company comes out and says, "Hey, we want to rebrand, and we'd like you to come up with what you think it should look like and enter our logo competition." And all the designers go, "Whoa, I'm not wasting my time designing logos for you, and you're just going to pick the best one, and everyone else who does it." And watch Instagram bring out a new logo, and all these graphic designers suddenly find all this time to go, "Well, here's what I would have done with the Instagram logo, and here's how I would have done it." It's like, mate, you work from your bedroom. There's no way Instagram are ever going to come to you and hire you to do a logo. They're going to use an agency, because it's the whole overall brand. So what I used to say was, don't try and rebuild Instagram. Go and find a local dog shelter or a charity that has no budget and use it as a project, just a personal project. Rebrand it for them. Just come up with a brand process, show what stationery could look like or what clothing could look like, and then approach them and say, "Hey, look, you probably don't even want it. It's fine. I'm going to put it on my portfolio as a process thing, but I just thought, like a charity donation, I'd like to give this to you." So a couple of young designers I used to work with, I said, "You know, these kind of local magazines you get, they come through the door where it's just loads of small ads for all local businesses. And if you look at them, most of them are just done in Microsoft Word, comments, all of that."
Yeah.
So I said, pick a couple, pick 2 or 3 and redesign them. Let's do what you think they look like more effective. There's actually a guy on TikTok I follow that he goes around New York finding ads on lampposts, and he takes them home and redesigns them, prints them, goes back and sticks them on where they were, but gives them a better ad. It's really, I'll send you the link.
Yes.
Stuff like that. It's just like, if you're looking to set up a business, look at what's local and see, not what's bad, because you could go around and go, "Oh, hey, I just saw your advert, it's really bad," and they go, "Yeah, my daughter did it," or don't insult them. Just say, "Hey, look, I'm a graphic designer, and one of my specialities is trying to make your adverts stand out above others." And that's what I think what you've done with your stationery is you've shown practicality. So like your workbooks and your time books and the things that you've done, you've designed something very specific that people go, "Oh, that's really cool. I could do with that." And then you get business from the back of that as well. So yeah, that just coming up with products and practicing new things, I think there's a lot to be said for it.
Yeah, I was trying to develop some new products this year, but I haven't come up, well, apart from the sticker book, which is basically stickers bound, but I found that a massive game changer for myself because I'm now not with my own stickers here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
That I was really happy with that. But in terms of stationery, it's what else would a business need apart from everything that's basically on my website?
Which is a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's encourage. Let's see. You here. I've got you on here as well for promotion because I want people to come and check you out and make sure that they come and look at your website. So I will put in the show link because otherwise we've got to try and spell it out again for everyone, and they'll get it wrong, and they'll put that H in there even if you say not to. But for SRH.com. But I think that definitely go and look at the website because when I went on that look, I couldn't believe how much you actually did on your own.
Yeah.
For the amount of things you offer.
Well, at the end of the day, everything's either printed on paper, card, or sticker sheets. So that's, when you think it looks like a lot of products, but then the three, like it's all, do you know what I mean? It's not like I have to have tons and tons of stuff to be able to make all the variety of things on the website.
Yeah.
So all the foil, stacks of card and stacks of sticker sheets and paper. And then, whatever I need for whichever product. I don't have to have much stock. The same with like the wires for the books. I use the same size wires for whichever books I make. So in terms of products, you have to list them differently though, because otherwise people can't find them on the website. So that's why I have to list everything individually. So like I want allergen stickers. I used to just have a round sticker listing, so just use that one. But I had to make a new one called allergen stickers. So that's why there probably seems like a lot, is because I individually list a lot of things. I do need to tidy it up a bit and adjust it a bit, but it's like one of those things. It's just like you put it at the bottom of the list because it's boring and time consuming.
How have you found places like Etsy, or not so much Redbubble, but particularly Etsy, where people are selling the final product? Is it an area you've thought looking at selling products? I think you do on your website anyway, pre-made stuff. But have you found that Etsy's been a problem with obviously theft of design ideas and stuff?
I don't go on it. I don't look on it. In all honesty, I don't go on Etsy to buy anything, and I don't go looking to see if anyone's making the same product either. I've got a couple of business friends in the same line of work as me, but we're business friends. Like, there's no thing between us or anything. We go to each other for advice and help all the time. They both sell on Etsy at a higher price because of the fees and all that thing. Yeah. And they both do really well on there. But it doesn't enter my mind to open a shop on there, to be honest with you, just because I don't think the fees. I know you've got that wide audience going there, because some people, that's their first place to go, isn't it? Right, I want wedding stickers, I'll just go on Etsy and get them. So there is that, but I think the fees are a put off, and that you have to dispatch within a certain amount of days and things like that, don't you? And or you get negative feedback and all this, and people complaining things haven't arrived on time. So I don't go on there to look what people are making. I don't buy off there, and I don't plan on ever using it.
That's good. That's right. That's a healthy way of looking at it, because we said earlier with the feedback, the worst thing you can do is start comparing yourself, and people will still. You've only got to go on Redbubble, and the amount of, that's another one of the videos I see a lot of, are when people are calling out big companies. There was a girl the other day, she made this really cute little, I think it was like a pink hippo or something, and Canva stole it. And Canva.
I saw that.
Yeah. And
I think my friend tagged me in that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so stuff like that, it's kind of, well, it's going to happen. I've never done a reverse search on anything I've ever created, because I just think it would eat too much of my time to pursue it in case. I mean, I've never created anything particularly that's going to make anyone millions that I'm going to worry about. But I think it's quite a healthy thing to just kind of draw a line under it and go, look, I'll do what I do. If something takes the piss, one of my friends is going to see it and tell me, and I can choose whether to deal with it or not. But just buckle down and doing your own thing. It's so much easier.
I'm not designing stuff from scratch. Like that girl had the hippo that she had drawn and designed. I'm using logos that the customer sends me and then adapting the stationery to match that. So I don't have anything out there apart from my Welsh national anthem design that got ripped off, but that
Oh,
was
really?
that was sorted and dealt with straight away. There's a TikTok video, Dave. Have you not seen it?
I've not seen it on it. I saw that you did it, but I didn't see that it had been stolen.
Oh yeah, I do show it in the background of the video.
Uh,
But yeah, I don't think I've got anything that anybody could take. And I think I'm all right in that respect. But
oh,
I've been accused of copying. I have been
oh,
accused
really?
of, a couple of years ago. All guns blazing, this message came in from a company that I wasn't aware of, that I don't follow, that I haven't had any interaction with whatsoever. And I told her like it is. I was like, I am not putting up with this, like absolutely not. What I've designed, and then when she showed me which one it was, I was like, yeah, okay, I can see similarities. But at the end of the day, we make the same products. We're both young. We're both going to have similar design styles, but don't outright accuse me when I've never seen this before. So if a
Yeah,
customer has sent me, so the customer sent me text for one of the products I'm making them, I don't then question them. Where have you had this text from? Who wrote that? Have you copied this from somebody else? Because this doesn't enter my mind to. At the end of the day, it's about how you store cakes.
yeah,
There's only so many words you can write about storing cakes. So I just said to her, like, listen, I'm not here for that. Like, life's too short. We're all in the same business. We should
yeah,
all just get along and support each other rather than trying to tell me to take something down off my website. It's like, no. And then I got an
yeah.
apology.
Really?
So, yeah.
So,
I was like, no, I knew my hands were shaking. I was reading this message like, no, not putting up with this, not being accused when I've never heard of you or seen this
no,
product before. Like, yeah.
it's going to happen with design. You can come up
Yeah.
with the same idea, and so I now, because I follow you, and then I went and followed your friend who you were talking about. And now I've seen another couple of feeds come through of people doing the tickets with foil on.
Yeah.
And now I get really defensive for you, because I'm sitting there thinking they better not be copying Sharon. I have to go and look now and see what they're doing. Are they a legit business, or have they copied any of her like designs and that? Because you do get, I think once you get people you sort of trust and like following, you do kind of have their corner. And quite often I've seen things before where I've gone back to someone and said, hey, do you want to have a look at this? 'Cause I'm not sure if it's like treading on your toes or not, but it'd be good for you to know about it, because
Yeah.
that's the lovely thing about your lovely customers and followers, is they will have your back and go, hey, Sharon, have you seen what's going on over here?
I didn't start the tickets though. I wasn't the first one to
No.
do them. 3 of my business friends do them. One of which, whose business is completely about foil tickets, is a customer of mine, and I make her logo stickers for her. But when customers started saying to me, like, because I do foil, they're like, well, do you make the foil tickets? I was like, no, sorry, I don't at the moment. It's not something I'm going to do, because there's already 3 or 4 businesses that do it. I don't need to touch it. And then it came up to Christmas. I was like, more and more people kept asking. And then I was making them as well for my friend who was giving her kids all sorts of tickets for all sorts of Christmas. I was like, well, there's a good place to start with in terms of making some examples. And because I love doing print and foil, not just the foil finish on what, I was like, I'll make mine that little bit extra special with the print finish. So mine are different to the other people that make them. So it's making sure it's not treading on any toes. And I still see their designs now, and I can see, we've all got our own way of making the tickets and laying them out and stuff. But no, I wasn't the first. I definitely wasn't the first. So don't go accusing anyone of copying me, because if anything, it's like, well, I was first, and now she added them to her website.
Well, there's loads of things where people make the same stuff. There always has been. I think it's just you bring your own touch to it, and it's part of what you do. I'd rather, if I was going to order a bunch of stuff, I'd rather look and see everything that you did first and shop around. And if someone just contacts you and says, hey, I've got this idea, could you make it? I think that's things you can go, yeah, I can. And this could actually be quite a good thing to promote that was a really good gift idea. I could make more of that. So it's definitely loads of growth there. But listen, thanks for being on. I really appreciate your time, because we've been trying for a little while. No, it's fine.
Little old me compared to all the other big stars that you interview.
You're now one of them. So we need to come back to you. So what I do is I will put a ton of links in the show notes for people to follow your TikTok, your Instagram, your website. All I can say is like, I'll blow smoke up your ass now. Honestly, people, if you want the kind of stuff that Sharon does, please go and check her out and give her your support in your business, because so she's doing it on her own, been doing it for 9 years. You've got a family. I think you're very honest and genuine in the way you go about it. It's a joy to watch. I feel like you've been a friend because I've been following you, and like you say, it's the first time we've ever spoken.
So
another person who kind of similar to you is Tat from Cake Soonish.
I love Tat.
Yeah, just love watching her content. I don't even cook, my daughter cooks, but it's just they're the kind of accounts I just love, that honesty, the genuine fun.
She's
taking the
hilarious.
piss out yourself, yeah. And it's just nice seeing the content, and I want more people to follow you as well, so you can get a bit more business in, take a few more weeks off.
No, I won't be able to now, will I?
No. But listen, thanks very much, Sharon. I'm definitely going to have you on again.
Thank you.
I like coming back and speaking to guests after they've like a period of time to see what they've been up to. But if ever you've got any questions about Illustrator or anything, give me a shout.
I will.
Happy to help you. But in the meantime, thanks for taking the time to be on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh no, thank you so much, Dave. Thank you.
We'll meet in person one day, and
absolutely.
owe you a drink.
Okay.
Now that I've retouched your boyfriend, your fiance up, when he was.
What you were going to say then?
So just for transparency, Sharon sent an image through. She was trying to recolor a picture of her fiance when he was little on holiday, and it was so much fun doing it because all the stuff in Photoshop now, I was like, I could make the picture wider. And
you did. I was like, how do you change the orientation of the photo?
I know, no, that was good fun. That was the stuff I used to get all the time. So no, it was quite a good experiment doing that. But
I showed Mark and he was very impressed. He was like, bloody hell, so I just need to print it out and put it in a different frame now and away from the window.
Yeah. No, thanks for being on the show, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.